Hi, I'm going to talk about something that took us a long time to find and that our regular doctor had never mentioned to us. Not because they're a bad doctor, but because this is one of those things that, unless you go looking for it yourself, you might never hear about it. I want to be upfront. I am not a medical professional. I'm a parent, and this is not medical advice. What I'm sharing is our experience, our research, our process, and where we are right now. Please take it for what it is, one family story. If something in this video resonates with you, talk to a specialist, do your own reading, ask hard questions. That's really the whole message underneath everything I'm about to say. The moment everything changed, it started, as it often does, at about 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, down a rabbit hole I hadn't expected to fall into. We'd been doing all the right things: ABA, speech therapy, OT, a lot of dietary adjustments, a lot of love, a lot of patience. And things were improving, slowly. But there were still these walls we couldn't seem to get through. The language, the sensory spirals, the frustrating sense that our child was working so hard just to connect, and something was getting in the way. So I started reading, and eventually I came across research on something called folinic acid, also known by its prescription name, leucovorin. And the more I read, the more I couldn't stop. So what is folinic acid? Here's the simple version. And I'll link to the actual research below so you can check it for yourself. Folate, vitamin B9, is essential for brain function. It helps build and repair neurons, supports neurotransmitter production, and keeps that protective myelin sheath around nerve cells healthy. All things that are deeply relevant to how our kids' brains develop and communicate. Now, in the general population, folate gets from your blood into your brain through receptors at the blood-brain barrier. Pretty standard. But here's where it gets interesting for about half of children with autism. And I want to repeat that number. Roughly 50%. There are antibodies that block those receptors. In the general population, this happens in about 1 to 2% of people. In autistic children, it's around 50%. What that means practically is that even if a child is eating well, even if they're taking supplements, the folate still might not be getting through to the brain in adequate amounts. Folinic acid, leucovorin, is a biologically active form of folate that uses a different pathway into the brain. It can essentially bypass those blocked receptors and still get folate where it needs to go. The research behind this comes from a team at the Arkansas Children's Research Institute, and it's been published in peer-reviewed journals. This isn't fringe stuff. It's not a wellness blog. It's real science, still evolving, but real. What our doctor said and what we did next. We brought it up with our pediatrician. They listened, they were thoughtful, but they weren't familiar with it and weren't comfortable recommending it. That's not a criticism. They were honest, and honesty matters. But it meant we had to keep going. We reached out directly to researchers in the field. That felt strange at first. Who are we to email a scientist? But we did it. And one of the things that has surprised us most on this whole journey is how willing some of these people are to talk to parents. We got responses, we got guidance, we found a specialist who understood the protocol. We are based in Europe, so it took a moment to find a good contact in our area. We found a professor in Belgium who is collaborating with the key researchers in the US. This was our starting point. The treatment. And a historical note. Before I tell you how it's going, I want to say something about certainty in medicine. Because this is something I've had to sit with myself. We live in an era where we expect medicine to have answers. And when it doesn't, when a treatment is not yet standard, it can feel dangerous to even consider it. But I think it's worth remembering that the history of medicine is full of ideas that were once uncertain and later became essential. Vaccines were once deeply controversial. The link between H. pylori bacteria and stomach ulcers was dismissed for years before it became accepted practice. The medical profession, for all its brilliance, moves slowly. And sometimes the parents in the room are the ones asking the right questions first. That's not a license to ignore medical advice or try anything without proper guidance. It absolutely is not. It's a reminder that we don't know yet is different from it doesn't work. And that being an informed, curious, questioning parent is not the same as being reckless. Where we are now, we've been on Elverine, seemingly a similar drug as leucovorin here in Europe, as we do not have access to leucovorin as such here in the EU for a few months now. The dose is small. The side effect profile, based on the studies, is mild. Some children experience a brief period of increased agitation or hyperactivity in the first week or two as the brain adjusts. That's what the research describes, and that's roughly what we saw. It passed. We're tracking with a standardized assessment called the ATEC, the Autism Treatment Evaluation Checklist. The idea is to take an objective snapshot every couple of months, so we're not just relying on feelings and hope. Because feelings and hope are unreliable. You notice what you want to notice. So, what have we seen? Honestly, some things that feel meaningful, more moments of spontaneous connection, some language that surprised us, a kind of presence that feels slightly more available than it was before. Is it the leucovorin? Is it time? Is it the new speech therapist? We genuinely don't know yet. That's the honest answer. We don't know yet, but we're watching, we're documenting, and we're staying in this for the long game because the research suggests it takes at least 6 months to properly evaluate. What I want you to take away, if I could say one thing to another parent watching this, it would be this. You are allowed to be curious. You are allowed to look beyond the first opinion you receive. You are allowed to reach out to researchers and read the actual studies and ask your doctor difficult questions. You are not obligated to accept "we don't know" as the end of the conversation. And at the same time, please do this carefully. Find specialists. Look at the actual evidence. Don't buy into miracle claims. Don't stop other therapies that are working. Don't do this alone. We are not doctors. We are parents navigating something hard. And the most useful thing we found, more than any single treatment, is the combination of staying informed, staying open, and staying honest about what we actually know versus what we're hoping for. We'll keep sharing how this goes, the good updates and the flat ones, because that's what this channel is about. Not success stories wrapped in a bow, but the real, ongoing, complicated work of raising our kids and doing right by them. And if you found this video useful, please share it with another parent who might need it. That's how we find each other. See you in the next one.